Hello! In today's Archaeoscoop, my top 3 headlines are as follows. Headline number 1 comes once again from the western coast of Ireland, where in recent weeks we've heard of archaeology being uncovered because of stormy weather. Last week it was 2 axe heads. Well, this week we are hearing of the destruction of archaeology because of stormy weather. The Dingle Peninsula, recently the place where a promontory fort sat proudly, has actually been severely affected by the sea, resulting in this site more or less being washed away. The Dunbeg fort was precariously located anyway, but people from the National Monument Service have been dispatched to try and assess what is likely to be a very severely damaged site. Unfortunately, though, it's not actually accessible at the moment because it's still simply too dangerous to go near. This really highlights something of a theme for this month, doesn't it? That archaeology is both revealed and also at risk because of stormy seas, especially on the coastlines exposed to the Atlantic. So I just thought I'd bring this story to our attention, or to your attention, highlighting that sort of, I suppose, the other side of that coin this week. That's headline number 1. Headline number 2 is to do with Culture Minister Ed Vaizey from the UK government placing a temporary export bar on an exquisite French Empire medal cabinet in order to provide museums with the chance to attempt to outbid a current sale price of £534,000 in an attempt to keep it in the country, essentially. He's been advised to place this bar by the reviewing committee on the export of works of art and objects of cultural interest, administered by the Arts Council for England. They said that it was of outstanding aesthetic importance and also significant to the study of the history of design, particularly as it's so blatantly inspired by the Egyptian revival, so-called, in terms of its shape, design, colour, this kind of thing. Now, I think this story, I don't know about you, is actually rich with supreme irony, in so much as we're talking about a British government attempting to keep hold of a French artefact, which itself is inspired by a period of, for many people, plundering in the Middle and the Near East, when Napoleon and also British forces were in the area investigating and taking artefacts, human remains, even chunks of monuments back to national museums here in the UK and also in Paris, for example. So it is supremely ironic, I think, that this story has come to our attention. But nonetheless, I thought I'd bring it to your attention, not only because of the irony, but also because it highlights an element of process, the way in which these artefacts are dealt with. And this doesn't often come certainly to this level of news, so that we hear about it. So it's worthwhile just having a bit of a look, just to learn a little bit more about how the government does things, I suppose. That's headline number 2. Headline number 3 is to do with the writings of the Greek poet Sappho, or Poetess Sappho. Writing around the 7th century BC, she is an extremely famous poet, despite the fact that until recently only one complete poem and fragments of a few others actually survived into modern day. Indeed, she's so famous that a whole style of writing, the Sapphic stanza, actually is named after her style. But nonetheless, this story is to do with the fact that 2 poems have been recovered, preserved on papyri in Oxyrhynchus in Egypt. I'm terrible with place names, I really am. Nonetheless, they've been preserved because of the arid atmosphere. And they offer giddy ancient language specialists an opportunity to study her writing even more. What actually makes her writing and her style interesting, I suppose, beyond its poetic content, is the fact that it's actually written in Aeolic Greek, which actually went out of fashion by the 2nd or 3rd century AD. So it's a type of Greek that sort of gave way to Attic Greek as time went on, and in that sense, again, it's a really good opportunity to get an insight into how it was written, how she wrote, what that Greek was used for, how it was used. Essentially, it's just more evidence and more loveliness for those people who love her poetry. It's also actually, of course, a female poet, and I've actually seen a couple of stories this week talking from, I suppose, a feminist perspective about the loss of female wisdom from the past, in their eyes, possibly because of later male-dominated societies, especially Christian societies. But nonetheless, this is an interesting story for many reasons, and therefore I thought I'd bring it to your attention. So that's headline number 3. So for those news stories and a whole host of others, as always, all you need to do is check the video information. They're all listed for your delectation and delight. Please do enjoy reading them. There's a couple of headlines in there actually with regards to the relationship between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals as well, which I thought were particularly interesting this week. So do check those out. As ever, do take care, have a great weekend, and until next time, bye bye.